Hi, everybody. It's Congressman Joe Courtney from Connecticut's 2nd District, which is the home of the New London submarine base in Groton, Connecticut, and which has been year in and year out the host of this annual update on veterans changes in law and benefits, which Paul Dillon has diligently year in and year out arranged even in the middle of a pandemic. And again, just want to give Paul a shout out for making sure that the flow of information, which this event always enables, has continued, even if it has to be on YouTube instead of in person. Also want to thank the submarine base, particularly the new captain who just took over, commander of the base, Captain Curtin, as well as Mark Jones from the Public Affairs Office and Chris Zenden for, again, year in and year out, making sure that this event, which brings in veterans from all over New England, to catch up on current changes in law. So again, really quick in terms of the state of play in Washington. I don't want to ruin everyone's morning talking about too much of it, but in terms of the sort of nuts and bolts of the Department of Defense and Department of Veterans Affairs, things are still kind of chugging forward. I still sit on the House Armed Services Committee, chair of the Committee on Sea Power and Projection Forces. We just had a great markup for the fiscal year 22 National Defense Authorization Act. Locally and in New England, this is probably the best budget in terms of shipbuilding, which has been steadily growing year in and year out. But this year, again, full funding for 2 per year Virginia-class submarines, full funding for the new Columbia program, which if you drive by the shipyard, you'll see this amazing new $800 million structure that has been going up, it seems like magically. It's been going up so quickly. Again, full funding for that project. In addition, there's new money for workforce development, with this growth in work and a lot of the retirements that's happening. It's a never-ending challenge to make sure that we're getting new trained workers to fill these positions, and some of that comes through the U.S. Department of Labor, but this year we actually are getting funding through the Navy to help with that effort, which is critical, as well as supply chain support. It's hard to believe, but there already now is discussion and talk about the fact that we need to design a new submarine to replace the Virginia class. It's called the SSNX, and there's actually funding to begin the design and engineer work on that program. So again, it's really quite extraordinary what's happening down there, and the bipartisan support for that effort now is just without question. During all the hearings and committee markups. The news that Australia is now decided to go with nuclear propulsion for its new submarine class to replace the existing Collins class is also something that we don't know the exact sort of arrangement that's going to be developed, but there's no question that Connecticut and New England is going to be involved in that, just like we were back in the 1950s and 1960s when the U.S. decided to share that technology with our ally, the United Kingdom. So again, very exciting development. I attended a meeting with the Prime Minister of Australia shortly after the announcement was made on September 15th, and that country, I think, is really going to be just so integral in terms of both the industrial base, but also all our efforts over in the Indo-Pacific region. So that's going to be something that is going to be happening for years and years, and you can't ask for a better ally than the Australians. But it's not just in New England, electric boat that we've been working on up at Maine, the Bath Iron Works, where again, we had a budget that came over that actually cut a destroyer, and that really would have stalled some of the new hiring that's going on up at Bath Iron Works. My subcommittee, working with some of my colleagues from up in Maine, were able to get a destroyer restored in the budget. We need to have, again, a bigger Navy, and clearly the DDGs that they build up in Bath Iron Works fill a critical role in terms of presence and capability and options out there. So we're very pleased that we were able to fix that gap that was in the budget. Regarding veterans benefits, today is October 6th. Last week, the U.S. House sent over to the White House for final signature the Veterans COLA update, annual update, which is required every year, that ensures that whatever COLA is implemented for Social Security for 2022 will also apply to veterans. I don't have to tell many of the folks in the audience who've been obviously following this issue in the media, this is going to be a big COLA this year because of the change in the economy that took place after it reopened in the wake of COVID. So that obviously is important that whatever benefit is in Social Security will also apply to veterans benefits. We also this morning heard from the U.S. Department of Education that they are going to fix the public service loan forgiveness program for service members and veterans who should have been able to get their loans discharged after 10 years of being in good standing with their federal student loans. Unfortunately, the Department of Education refused to recognize overseas deployment when payments were suspended as qualifying months for discharge. That now is going to be fixed, and it's going to be done automatically. The Department of Education and the Department of Defense are going to work together to make sure that the records match up and that people will not have to do any gymnastics in terms of applying for that full discharge. In November in New London, we're going to see finally the full opening of the community-based Veterans Clinic at Shaw's Cove. Again, this is a facility which will be 15,000 square feet, 3 times the size of the prior clinic, which is in operation today. That's going to open the door to a lot of new services, which is going to mean less hassle for veterans and to be able to accommodate larger groups for visits and meetings. The meeting today, I'm sure, is going to walk through other issues. Manny Meneses, who does our veterans casework, 30 years in the Navy, is going to be, I'm sure, a very active participant. And, our office is always ready after these gatherings to follow up with any questions that people may have. So, again, hope you all stay safe. I hope you have a great meeting. Despite all the polarization and difficulty in Washington, we are determined to continue to make sure that the people who wear the uniform today and those who wore it in the past get the help and services that they've earned. Thank you very much.